Well, it was Prime Minister Modi's first bilateral with the 47th President of the United States in his third term, and this was a meeting of the two world leaders who are expected to play quite a critical role in the new world order. It was a display of bonhomie and camaraderie between the two leaders as well. As Prime Minister Modi arrived at the White House, he was also gifted a coffee table book by the U.S. President, and the inscription reads, "You are great." In fact, time and again during the press briefing as well, President Trump referred to Prime Minister Modi as his friend, saying the Indo-U.S. ties have never been better. This meeting between Donald Trump and Prime Minister Modi focused on several critical issues that concern both the nations, and it also spoke about the regional stability and the security of the Indo-Pacific. As the two leaders addressed the media, they made it clear that both the nations also aspire to hit the $500 billion mark in trade by 2030. India and the United States are looking to secure a deal on F-35 stealth jets as well, which could be a big fillip to India's defense sector. In fact, the U.S. President also confirmed that efforts are on to extradite the 2611 plotter, Tahir Rana.
जब अमेरिका और भारत साथ मिलकर काम करते हैं, यानी मागा प्लस मीगा, तब बन जाता है मेगा पार्टनरशिप फॉर प्रॉस्पेरिटी। इसरो और नासा के आपसी सहयोग से बनाई निसार सैटेलाइट शीघ्र ही भारतीय लॉन्च व्हीकल पर अंतरिक्ष की उड़ान भरेगी। आज हमने द्विपक्षीय व्यापार को 2030 तक 2 गुना से भी अधिक बढ़ाकर $500 बिलियन तक पहुंचाने का लक्ष्य निर्धारित किया है। अमेरिका और भारत मिलकर के हमारी कोशिश है और हमारी कोशिश रहनी चाहिए कि इस प्रकार की पूरी इकोसिस्टम को हमें जड़ मूल से नष्ट करना चाहिए ताकि ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग बंद हो।
Anywhere in the world, they've been very strong on tariffs, and I don't blame them necessarily, but it's a different way of doing business. It's very hard to sell into India because they have trade barriers, very strong tariffs. We are right now a reciprocal nation. We are going to, if it's India or if it's somebody else with low tariffs, we're going to have the same. We're going to have whatever India charges, we're charging them. Whatever another country charges, we're charging them. So it's called reciprocal, which I think is a very fair. As you said, we're giving a very violent man, it seems to me. I mean, I don't know that he's been convicted yet or will be, but let's assume he's a pretty violent person. We're giving him back to India immediately, and there are more to follow because we have quite a few requests. So we work with India on crime. Starting this year, we'll be increasing military sales to India by many billions of dollars. We're also paving the way to ultimately provide India with the F-35 stealth fighters.
Mr. President, you spoke about Prime Minister Modi as a tough negotiator. Who was a tougher negotiator today, and who has a better negotiating tactic when it comes to tariffs?
Oh, he's a much tougher negotiator than me, and he's a much better negotiator than me. There's not even a contest. Okay?
One of the biggest breakthroughs in the bilateral meeting with the U.S. President has to be Donald Trump's assurance on extraditing the main 2611 plotter. Donald Trump claimed that his administration has approved the extradition of Tahir Rana, who he called one of the most evil people in the world. He is currently detained in the United States in a metropolitan detention center in Los Angeles and is known to be associated with Pakistani-American terrorist David Headley. Mr. Ujjwal Nikam is live with us on the broadcast. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Ujjwal Nikam. This is a big moment, and you're somebody who has been closely associated with the entire case as well. And, you know, the entire country is aware of how the country has waited for decades together for this. How significant of a diplomatic victory is this for India?
Indeed, it's a historic moment for two reasons. Before U.S. administration taken any decision after the rejection of Tahir Rana's appeal in U.S. Supreme Court, U.S. President Mr. Trump on his own has made an announcement that Tahaur Rana will be extradited very soon.
Yes.
Now, this development has taken during the visit of our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi ji. Now, I think this gives a strong signal across the world that U.S. land will not be used by such persons who are indulging in terrorist activities on the soil of India. Number one. Number two, U.S. government has taken a tough stand so far as the people who are involved in the terrorist activities. And thirdly, this specific signal given by Mr. Trump clearly shows that the bilateral relationship, so far as the terrorists are concerned and other things are concerned, they will be very smoothly operated. Mr. Trump has used one word, that Mr. Modi is a very tough negotiator. That clearly gives a message that their close friendship and acquaintance with each other. But at the same time, Mr. Trump is very clear in saying, so far as the tariff is concerned, it will be a reciprocal. So I think Mr. Trump is a very outspoken, and I think in today's meeting also, between the Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Modi ji, and Mr. Trump, many new things will be evolved. Because Mr. Trump has also said the list of such persons like Tahaur Rana is a very long one. And you see, it's very difficult to predict at this juncture, but this is giving a strong signal to those countries who are still, they are sheltering such terrorists.
Okay, all right. Mr. Ujjwal Nikam, you're known across the country for your role as a prosecutor in the 2611 cases, so your words add a lot of weightage to that. We just want to play out for our viewers the conversations that had taken place over cross-border terrorism. President Trump talking about radical Islam and countering terrorism. Prime Minister Modi as well welcoming this move from the United States to extradite Tahaur Rana. Listen in.
As you said, we're giving a very violent man, it seems to me. I mean, I don't know that he's been convicted yet or will be, but let's assume he's a pretty violent person. We're giving him back to India immediately, and there are more to follow because we have quite a few requests. So we work with India on crime, and we want to make it good for India, and it's very important. So that kind of a relationship is very important to us.
आतंकवाद के खिलाफ लड़ाई में भारत और अमेरिका दृढ़ता से साथ खड़े रहे हैं। हम सहमत हैं कि सीमा पार आतंकवाद के उन्मूलन के लिए ठोस कार्रवाई आवश्यक है और मैं राष्ट्रपति जी का आभारी हूं कि उन्होंने 2008 के जिसने भारत में नरसंहार किया था उस मुजरिम को अब भारत के हवाले करने का निर्णय किया है। भारत की अदालतें उचित कार्यवाही करेंगी।
Now, let's get you the charges against Tahaur Rana. The conspiracy to wage war, to commit murder, as well as to commit forgery for cheating and use as genuine forged documents, committing a terrorist act as well. In fact, Senior Executive Editor Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan has been reporting for us from Washington, D.C. in the United States. He brings us this special report.
One of the big wins for India as far as this bilateral visit is concerned is the extradition of Tahaur Rana, which the U.S. government has formally signed off on. And it's not just the fact that Tahaur Rana, one of the perpetrators and masterminds of the 2611 attack, will now be facing justice in India, but also the fact that President Trump has decided to consider the other requests from India for extradition, sending out a big message to all the perpetrators of terror against India. What's even more specific is the fact that the entire joint statement has called out Pakistan. It has asked for the perpetrators of 2611 and the Pathankot attack to be brought to justice, and has also urged Pakistan to not allow its territory to be used for spreading terror in other jurisdictions.
So, Mr. Ujjwal Nikam, there's no fixed timeline that has been given by the United States. Realistically, when can we expect this to happen? Because India has also mentioned that this is just the beginning. There are other names as well that have been given to the United States. But this is one name that people in the country have been waiting for. It's been a long time waiting.
There is no need to fix a timeline because you see, once the US administration has taken the decision in principle that they have an approval for the extradition of Taur Rana, because after the order of the Supreme Court, there is no legal scope to Mr. Taur Rana to challenge the said verdict. So US administration has taken the decision and therefore Mr. Trump has made that announcement. Now it's a only question of about the month, and I'm sure that within a month, Taur Rana is likely come back to India.
Okay, all right. So he's likely coming to India soon. Would you also want to speak about why there has been a delay? These efforts have been put in by India for a long time now, for several years now. Was it because of any diplomatic reasons? Was there any resistance that came in from the US side? What led to this delay?
See, there was no resistance because you see, Taur Rana was already convicted by Chicago court because David Headley has, by way of the plea bargain agreement, he is undergoing the sentence for 35 years. So far as Taur Rana is concerned, he has already been sentenced by Chicago court. So after the entire sentence which was awarded by Chicago court, Taur Rana was a free man. And therefore, thereafter, India started the extradition proceedings. And Taur Rana tried to save himself by recourse the various legal remedies, but ultimately he failed. And the US government has taken a very bold and tough stand against Taur Rana. That is the reason as to how, you see, Taur Rana is now will be extradited. See, I'm more amused to see that before the US administration officially should take any decision after the verdict of the US Supreme Court, US President yesterday in the night on his own has made this announcement.
Yes.
And that is a good gesture towards India.
Absolutely.
And you see, when our Prime Minister is in the US, he has made a statement that clearly shows that Mr. Trump also wants to have a good relation with India, because now India is a great hub for the US also, and US knows very well for certain that India has a strong potential also.
Yes.
And Mr. Modi ji and Mr. Trump, they had knowing each other, because last time when US President Mr. Trump was on the chair of the president, so they have good equation. That is the reason as to US President without having any formalities, has made this announcement of the US government.
And
so
it was one of the first announcements that came in from him, isn't it? As soon as the press briefing began, he spoke about it. And it also shows that for India and the United States, counter-terrorism and peace is at the top of the agenda. Mr. Ujjwal Nikam, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. Let's also go across to my colleague Shrishti, who's joining us on the broadcast from Mumbai. Shrishti, this is a very, very significant development in Mumbai, and this was an incident that shocked the entire country. It has been several years waiting for justice, and we are now a step closer. Take us through the details of why this is significant and the charges that have been mentioned in the NIA charge sheet against Taur Rana.
Well, of course, it's a big move and great relief for India as well, because the kind of situation unfolded earlier in Mumbai, that was horrific, and it has marks on people's mind till today. We are joined with Dilip Mehta, one of the victims of this entire attack. Sir, this is a big move. Now, Trump has cleared Taur Rana's move to India. How do you take this? Do you think that justice is served now?
Yes. Justice is delayed but not denied. This is a very big day for India, and today at the level of the President of the United States and our Prime Minister both giving a joint statement in Washington DC yesterday that Taur Rana is now on his way to India, hopefully, who's going to be tried here, and the biggest legality process will continue, and the due penalty of any kind is due to be received by him. So Tabu Rana, as we all know, is one of the main culprit who played a very big role with David Headley, and who helped David Headley to set up the logistical arrangements here in India. And Tabu Rana is one of the key factor. He tried his level best in U.S. To avoid extradition, but he failed. And the Supreme Court in the U.S. said nothing doing. You have to be extradited to India, and this is the day, a big day for India, especially for patriots, and also for me. I feel I'm a happier man today that this is what was due, and it has now finally come to India's rescue.
Well, of course, you were in Taj on that particular night. What are your memories? What exactly transpired? What exactly happened?
I was on the 19th floor attending a conference that night, and as I said earlier, the elevator which took me up at 7 in the evening, I never imagined in my life that that elevator is not going to be available 9 or 10 hours later. So I must tell you that exactly at 9:42, when we were about to leave, the security on the 19th floor stopped us and saying that there is a gang war on the ground floor and we are not be able to go down. Just within 10 minutes, the things were absolutely clear and loud that there is a terror attack, and the whole hotel is under siege. I could hear bomb blasts, and I could see people screaming, shouting, and we all, total 166 innocent people lost their life.
Okay, so Shrishti, reliving the horrors of that fateful day and the many hours that followed, thank you for joining us. With that, let's shift our attention now to the big takeaways, the big headlines from this meeting. One of the biggest takeaways being the reciprocal tariff on India that President Trump spoke about. He said that reciprocal tariff is a fair deal. There's nothing wrong with it. With that, he also spoke about increasing trade, saying that India and the United States will reach $500 billion trade deal by 2030. Apart from that, there was a mention of F-35 stealth jets as well. And, of course, the 2611 plotter to be extradited and joint efforts to combat terrorism. All right, with that, let's get you more breaking updates coming in. After Prime Minister Modi met Elon Musk has tweeted about the same. Taking to social media X, he has said it's an honor to meet the Prime Minister. He has, in fact, quote-tweeted what the Prime Minister had said. The Prime Minister had mentioned that it was a delight to meet Elon Musk's family to talk about a wide range of subjects. So the Prime Minister met not just Elon Musk, but his family members, including his children, also accompanying him for this meeting. And look at the pictures that were tweeted by the Prime Minister. He spoke about his meeting with Elon Musk and his kids. And these are the pictures that were tweeted by him. Now, Elon Musk has quote-tweeted that to say it was an honor to meet.